Hi there, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Tina from tinahills.com, and this video is also about Saturn. So do you know the ancients called Saturn the Greater Malefic? But do you know that he was also known as the Great Enemy or the Great Falsifier? Okay, because he was the enemy of freedom. In ancient texts describe him as an enemy of freedom. Again, author of enmity. So he creates enmity. That's what the ancients thought of Saturn, because they thought of him as a very malefic sort of an influence on humanity. Because if you really look at Saturn, it appears all hazy and all like dark brown. So it mustn't be so positive like Jupiter. That's what the ancients thought. Now, also, if you interestingly look at the myth of Saturn and how Saturn caused the birth of Aphrodite by castrating Uranus. So, he brought the rule of Uranus to an end by castrating him. And both Uranus and Saturn are actually rulers of Aquarius, if you think about it. And this castration of the father. And Saturn also devours his children. You must have seen that image, Saturn devouring his children by Goya. Okay? And because why has Saturn been portrayed in such a negative way? Because if you really look at it, Saturn is about teaching us what we don't want to listen to. And if you really look at how life pans out, how we are till the age of 29 before our Saturn return, we don't know much about life. I am speaking to you because in Western astrology, I have Chiron trine my natal Saturn, Saturn trine my natal Chiron, and in the Vedic system, I have started my sadi. So the sadi is basically when Saturn enters a sign ahead of your moon sign. So for me, my moon sign is Pisces. In the Vedic system, it's Aquarius. And Saturn has just entered Capricorn in the Vedic system. So this is the start of my Sari. Of course, it's a 7.5 period. And the Sari will be rising and will peak and then will be waning. Just like that. Sari is also periods. So Sari can be a time of tremendous difficulties, or it can be a time of tremendous rewards according to the karmic situation that you have created for yourself. You reap what you sow, says Saturn. And I am ready to reap what I have sown, because I have diligently done Saturn's work. I have not shirked Saturn's work, and I have diligently done Saturn's work. So I am not worried about what the Sari will bring. But Sari can also be quite difficult for your parents. In many cases, I have seen that it can be quite difficult for your mom or even your dad. Now, another thing that I want to mention is Saturn actually makes us aware of our first pains, because Saturn is the skeletal structure. So, I have a 5-6 year old now. She just turned 6. And to her, she's like, okay, mom, I have a pain. You have a pain there. Oh, I have this, I have that. It's because she's growing every day, and Saturn is teaching her about pain. Even teeth. Saturn rules the teeth. So can you think of what is so very painful for children? It's the whole experience of having the teeth fall out and new teeth coming in. That is again Saturn teaching them about pain. Now, is Saturn some kind of a sadist, and is Saturn looking at just doling out misfortunes for us? I don't think so. Saturn is our spiritual guru, and he is, you've signed up for this. You've signed up to come to this earth school to learn, to maybe teach, to grow, to help other souls evolve, and Saturn is pushing you towards your karma. That's why hedonistic people probably call him the falsifier, or the causation of enmity. Because when you're not ready to take authorship, you're not ready to say, okay, it was my fault, or this is my responsibility and I didn't do it correctly, and I will take authorship for that. Those people are not ready to do that. So that's why enmity happens. Is Saturn drafting that enmity between people, or are people responsible? Saturn shows you where you are responsible. And I think the period of Saraswati in our life is about us becoming responsible for our emotions, for our physical body, for our spiritual health. That is what Saturn is teaching us, to take authorship. He is not the great falsifier. He is not devouring his children, as in he's not literally consuming us, but he's teaching us ways to evolve and spiral upwards. So it's time to rethink about the way we perceive the Saturnine energy, because Saturn is in domicile in Capricorn. And it's got a 29-year orbit. It will not be back in Capricorn. Shortly will dip into Aquarius and will return to Capricorn to revisit that, hey, what's up? What's happening? Have you guys done the revisions that I told you to do? Is the editing done? Is the compilation done? Then we can render it and upload it, but not before that. Saturn is meticulous. Saturn wants us to be meticulous. Okay, the Saturn Pluto conjunction was very, very profound for me. It was not nerve-wracking or anxious. I didn't feel like Saturn and Pluto were out to hurt me. Although I saw this beautiful line circulate on social media that the meeting of Saturn Pluto was like a Death Star. I think I wrote that down somewhere. A Death Star created by the let me see my notes. It was quite interesting and it really touched me. But a double star that evokes the death wish, Thanatos. So yes, it may have evoked the death wish. Thanatos is the death urge, okay, and Eros is the love urge. So there's a sense of death and decay with Saturn, and a sense of the old. But we learn so much from the old. So it's time to not consider Saturn as a great malefic or a falsifier or a causer of enmity. In fact, Saturn is so powerful because all the really disruptive black magic is also done by invoking him. Even if you look at Azazel, in demonology, Azazel is evoked through Saturn. All of the black magic is done through Mars and Saturn as well, because these people tend to see Saturn as this great malefic causing misfortune. But Saturn is so much more, and so profound. If Saturn's color is black, it is said that when he was in his mother's womb, his mother was doing, pujas to the sun god. That's why she became black. Her name was Chaya, which means shadow. So the birth of Saturn from the sun and shadow. So there is a sense of the idea of shadow being associated to Saturn. And even if you look at tarot reversals, they are all shadow projections of the archetypes. Everything reverses itself. So the shadow projection of Saturn is misery, penury, abject hopelessness, devastation, disease, death, Thanatos. Okay, but if you uplift this, Saturn always blesses. Mind my words. Check the house through which he is traversing. If you've done your diligent duty, Saturn will repay you. So that was a bit about Saturn and Saraswati, and because I'm a syncreticist, I like to combine systems and archetypes and see how they fit in, how they work with each other. And believe me, each day I understand that everything is one. We are all one. The knowledge is one. It's just been interpreted differently. So like, comment, subscribe, share, and let me know what you think. Book a reading, www.tinahils.com. Thank you.